No, Frogan, you're a piece of shit. You're a fucking liar. And you live in your own rose-tinted glasses of who you are, you fat, disgusting bitch.
Yeah, as you just saw, popular Twitch streamer Tectone is getting in some pretty hot water after his recent ban for comments towards another Twitch streamer. A streamer I'm sure some of you may know about, Frogan. She's famous for being, friends with Hasan, I guess. Oh yeah, and she's famous for saying she hopes all US soldiers get PTSD, but we'll circle back to that later. Hello and welcome back. I'm Bliss, that's Skeletor, and I want to talk about the very evident problem that's been going on at Twitch. So yeah, after going on a ramble about Frogan on his Twitch livestream, Tectone would go on Twitter a few hours later and make a post announcing his ban from Twitch, saying that it's likely going to be at least 2 weeks before he can stream again. Now, based off the clip you saw in the beginning, would you say that Tectone deserves a ban for this? I'm sure many of you might actually say yes, and you're about as correct as the people who think one gorilla can take 100 men. But no, in all seriousness, I can see how it could be argued that he deserved a ban, even though he didn't technically break Twitch TOS, which we'll actually see Tectone talk about later in the video. But yeah, it could possibly be argued that, you know, it was deserved because he said some pretty harsh things about another person on Twitch, which is obviously going to cause mass backlash. And we're actually going to look at Frogan's response to this in just a bit. But alright, fair enough, I guess. You know, if that's the hill you're going to die on, like if you want to call it hate speech or something, like sure, whatever. I mean, it's not, but whatever. However, the main issue lies in the fact that a massive Twitch streamer like Frogan or her associates like Hasan get very clear like favoritism and protection from Twitch. Like anytime you see them say some crazy shit, the most they'll get banned for is like a fucking weekend. Like take the situation where Frogan said that she wishes PTSD on all US military soldiers and only received a 1-day ban, basically a slap on the wrist from Twitch. Or another incident where Hasan Piker, one of Frogan's associates, was banned for only 1 day after publicly calling for the murder of a US senator. No funny shit, these people are like the type of anti-patriots you'd see in like a Captain America movie working for Hydra or some shit. Like we might catch them in the new Doomsday crossover. It's genuinely comical the way these people are so like anti this and anti that. I can't take it seriously. And in response, Twitch basically just gives them a little pow pow, like nothing serious. Anyways though, Frogan would go on Twitter after Tectone's ban, and she quote retweets it saying, "Judge me by my enemies." Like this fucker might actually be Victor Von Doom. But seriously, if we were to judge you based off of this, Frogan, I'd say you're a sheltered baby being protected by Twitch. And what's funnier is that she actually had Tectone blocked on Twitter, which means she had to unblock him, quote retweet, and then block him again. Like what type of shit is that? I feel like that's mad work for petty internet drama. Like it's literally the online equivalent of your little sibling slapping you and then running to hide behind your parents. But Tectone would still screenshot and reply to her tweet saying that her only enemy is a salad. Wow. Now you remember earlier how I mentioned that Tectone actually didn't break Twitch TOS and still got banned? Yeah, well let's get into that. Tectone would put out another tweet stating, "She blocks me, quote retweets, and reblocks me because she's afraid." Frogan, just 2 weeks ago you said that fat jokes don't bother you at all, or did you misspeak? So why is this important in any way? Well, after getting unbanned, Tectone on his first stream back would of course talk about his ban and how it led him to investigate Twitch's terms of service.
Alright, they tripping balls? True. Alright. So I was banned for 2 weeks. And why did I get banned? Because I called Frogan a fat piece of shit. And to be fair, did I deserve the ban? Absolutely. 100%. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? I was absolutely berating the fuck out of her. But here's the fucking problem. Here's the fucking problem, right? I get banned for 2 weeks. I think that's a little bit much. I think it's a little bit much for calling someone fat. Someone who said they weren't bothered by that comment literally 1 week ago. So I guess I should have been a mind reader, because in the TOS says when someone repeatedly says that they're bothered by something and then you keep saying it, then you'll get banned. But in the TOS, it literally says they have to state that they're bothered by it. And Frogan has gone on record saying she was not bothered by it.
So yeah, apparently the person has to make it known that they're uncomfortable or dislike the way they're being treated. So if Frogan said she was okay with the comments, then there's genuinely no reason for Tectone to be banned. But as he said himself, he doesn't really care. He even believes that he was a little harsh and deserves the ban. But more importantly, people like Frogan and Hasan deserve to be banned for the shit they say as well. And not just like a little fucking slap on the wrist either. And what makes matters worse, in order to get unbanned, Tectone had to take some sort of Twitch creator survey. And ironically enough, question 4 on this survey was something very similar to what Frogan had done previously.
But here's what's crazy. Do you guys know what question number 4 is on the survey? I bet you'll never guess. Well, why don't I show you? Question number 4. A streamer is talking about a physical injury they experienced in the military. Someone in chat tells the streamer that they deserve their injury and should have been killed. You know what the correct answer was for does this behavior violate Twitch's community guidelines? Yes, because Twitch does not allow users to wish harm or death on others. Well, that's crazy, because why the fuck is Frogan going live wishing death and harm on American soldiers on a daily fucking basis?
Yeah, ironically enough, Twitch themselves find what Frogan does on a regular basis detestable, and yet most of the punishment she receives is essentially a slap on the wrist. And it's so weird because Frogan seems genuinely confused as to why people don't like her. Like she's hornswoggled by the concept of her being a sincerely unlikable person, which Asmongold actually speaks about in a clip I'll show you in just a second. But first, if you made it this far, consider subscribing and following the socials linked on screen, or leaving a like, because I mean, hey, you made it this far, clearly like something.
Frogan is a detestable, disgusting person. I think everybody knows this, not by her appearance, but by the content of her character. I find this to be very surprising because I don't even think that's really her either. I think the fact is that, you know, she's probably a nice person, but she just gets on the internet and turns into an awful person. I think that's the truth. I met Frogan in real life, and I got along just fine with her. There were no problems. It was a nice, you know, like, it was friendly. Like, there's nothing wrong. And so, like, I don't want to say this in a way that, like, you know, is like, wrong. But, like, you can't go and say that you hope people, you know, soldiers get PTSD and shit like this. You can't go and say this and be like, oh, wow, I'm surprised people don't like me. Fucking duh, people don't like you. Like, fuck. What do you expect?
Yeah, Frogan is clearly one of Twitch's many golden boys that they just can't say no to anytime she bats her eyelashes and pouts her lip. It's genuinely almost pitiful how much of a sloth site Twitch is becoming for nothing more than like corporate greed. Like it's genuinely sad, you know? But anyways, thanks for watching. I know it wasn't anything huge or whatever, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So yeah, bye.
Bye, have a great time.